New St. Paul co-living duplex cracks the code of affordability and low-carbon housing. Welcome to today's show. I'm Adam Chikowski with Jupiter Equipment Finance.
My name is Chris Astolero with Exchange Resources.
I am Roger Lee with HLM Group.
This is LEARNin Local Live.
LEARNin Local Live.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to today's show. We got really a rock star lineup and a cool topic to discuss. Really co-living, which is kind of the I guess the new hot topic of real estate, but different terms for it: pad split, co-living. But it's really been around for a long time. If a lot of people know it as boarding houses, so rooming.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be something that catches on, and dealing with the affordability issues in a lot of markets. But yeah, excited to have you both here.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us, Adam. I think it's going to be a great topic, especially like you said, with the rising costs, groceries, insurance, everything has gone up by 30 to 40%. And everyone is looking for a better way to live and be productive and be more efficient. So this is going to be a great topic for us to discuss today.
Yeah, I'm so excited because in the short-term rental space, there's many hosts that have room by room places, and in such like transient cities and locations, people are definitely taking advantage of this situation or this like setup.
Yep.
Right. Well, excited to have you guys here and our guests. And again, welcome to LEARNin Local Live. This is a show where we collaborate and bring together like-minded people within real estate who are actually doing deals, actually have the experience, and with all the information out there in the world, it's hard to make sense of what's real and what's not these days. But we're here as a group to educate, empower, and inspire.
Yep. Great.
And then not to mention, we're here to connect, collaborate, and create. So again, we have a lot of diverse backgrounds and experiences. So, again, it brings a lot of real information to the table for the audience.
Absolutely. And like you said, it's hard to, determine what's real and what's not real. And so being live, being on a podcast and listening to all of our influencers who are actually in the field and experiencing all of these issues and challenges and what's going on in the market is going to give us a really great ability to answer a lot of questions and see what these opportunities are for many of our viewers.
For sure. I think just joining LEARNin Local Live in these last few months, I've met so many new people. My network's just expanding like tenfold.
Great. Well, let's get
we're always looking for more subject matter experts. As you can see, we're going to have guests who are actually doing the topic we're discussing. So if you're a subject matter expert, please reach out. And, with that being said, we're going to kind of transition to introducing some of our featured influencers today. Well, again, welcome. Like I mentioned, my name is Adam Chikowski. I'm with Jupiter Equipment Finance, been in commercial equipment financing for the last 7 years and real estate for the last 4. Right now, I'm in the commercial senior living space, working on capital raising.
And my name is Chris with Exchange Resources. Our company does 1031 exchanges. Are you an investor that has just sold his property and is facing a huge tax consequence? Well, with a 1031 exchange, you can actually defer all those capital gains taxes, roll it over into your next property so you can defer all those capital gains taxes. We've done over 60,000 tax deferred exchange, held over $35 billion in exchange funds, and we are here to help you create more wealth for you and your family.
I'm Roger Lee with HLM Group LLC. I am a property manager that specializes in short-term rentals, mainly luxury vacation rentals in the Northeast.
Perfect. And I think we're going to introduce our first guest today, Clara. Clara, I'll let you introduce herself. She's a specialist up here in Boston in the co-living space.
Hey, Clara, welcome.
Hola, hi everybody. Gracias. Happy to be here. My name is Clara Arroyave. I am the CEO of Co-living Cashflow, which is a platform to learn, buy, sell, and invest exclusively in co-living properties, not only in New England, but also nationwide.
Perfect. And Clara, obviously you've been in the co-living space for the last 10 years, and I feel like it's starting to become a little bit more popular, the new hot item in real estate these days. But, it's been around. So, you're a subject matter expert in this. So, we're excited to hear you on this and what you have to say. And besides you as today's guest, we also have another great, amazing guest who I've met through similar interests in real estate groups we're in. And she's a rock star, in my opinion, what she's doing, just killing it with how far she's making it and doing what she's doing. And, I'd like to introduce, Alexis Morgan.
Hey, Alexis, welcome.
Thanks so much. Happy to be here. My name is Alexis Morgan. Good to see everyone here. I am a lender, so I focus on bridge debt or short-term debt for real estate investors. We do residential stuff, we do co-living stuff, we do fix and flips, commercial, all the above. If you need a loan, you need to close quickly, that is our specialty.
Perfect. And Alexis, real quick, for people who are maybe newer to real estate and hearing you as an investor, are you a bank? Like, how does that work with private money?
Yeah, the benefit of using private money is that we're not a bank, right? A bank is going to ask you for 50 dozen documents and all this and that, and it'll take 12 months or maybe 6 months, or maybe if you're lucky, 3 months to close a loan. We've closed things in 3 business days. And so that's the benefit of using our capital. It's that flexibility, that speed, and most importantly, that relationship. As someone borrows and performs over and over and over again, we're willing to look at other things that they're doing to grow their business and fund other types of deals.
Awesome. And already we have 2 amazing guests, but hey, we're adding a third one for today. And I'd like to introduce Cliff, last but not least.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. I'm so happy to be here. I am a real estate broker. I've been licensed for about 11 years. I have about 8 years in investor experience. I'm also a landlord, so I'm into multifamily and fix and flips. So I'm just happy to connect with like-minded individuals. I also run monthly events. I'm here in Massachusetts with investors. So I'm just looking to grow and really collaborate with everybody. Thank you.
Welcome, Cliff.
Perfect. Well, welcome everyone.
Welcome,
Excited
Cliff.
to
Welcome, everybody.
pick everyone's brain and showcase your expertise. So, so let's dive in right into today's topic. We're going to be awesome.
All right.
So, learning local insights today. So, going back to the main topic, co-living. I think as we started, and Clara, I'll let you kind of dive in more. This is more the popular term these days. And for those of you that may have heard it, co-living, pad split, some different terms, but I think it's a great way to combat, affordability these days. And, Clara, tell us a little bit more about co-living and the effect on it.
Sure, happy to. And the interesting part is that many people think that it's like something new that is just starting, but if you take a step back and look at what's going on in Europe, in Asia, they've been doing it for decades, and there are operators and owners that have 1,000, 5,000, 20,000 units all over. It's very normal over there, and here we're just like getting started. But if you want to really think about co-living, just my formula is very simple. Think about the 3 C's. 3 C's for co-living: cost. So people use co-living because it's low cost or affordable cost, because it's convenient, meaning you have a place that you only have to pay for that place, no financials first, first, last deposit. Applications are more complex and it's all inclusive, so convenience. So you solve it as an investor when you have a client. For co-living, you solve it for convenience. And the C that we're going to discuss when the article comes is community. Especially after COVID, the pandemic of loneliness here doesn't matter the age, from young people, mid people, 55 plus people. There is a lot of loneliness epidemic, and the good thing about co-living is that when you create a space for community, you also help your residents to stay longer. So which increases your revenue as an investor. So that's the way I would think.
No, it's a great way to kind of explain that. And we with our guests here, we have some interesting insights there. Like Cliff, you're on the investor side as a fix and flip. With what Clara's mentioning, are you kind of seeing that change with people looking for exit strategies and fix and flipping and trying to find ways to get creative when we're finding a distressed property?
Absolutely. With the market changing and everything, typically fix and flips, now the turnover is getting a little bit longer. I'm actually experiencing it myself up here in Massachusetts. And, a lot of people in my network, they're looking to invest more out west where prices are a little bit lower, the risk is less. But yes, it's definitely more important to, and less, it's less of a risk to invest into a multifamily and doing a co-living because you have people paying. They're paying the note,
Yep.
Instead of doing a flip, now you got to wait, 3 to 4 months till it's done. No income's coming in. So this is what people are going towards right now. They're going towards where the cash flow is coming in, and co-living and multifamily is where it's at right now.
Cliff, I'm going to interject with you for information sake, because a lot of people that watch us is like, oh no, co-living is only good if it's for like a very low income people, or it's only for you go to Texas and Florida, and get a single family and slice it into pieces. Nothing further from the truth, in the sense that if you go to Zillow right now, like literally right now, and go to Zillow rooms and put any town in Massachusetts, you see how many multifamilies that are the same, 4-bedroom, triplex, or that are 4-bedroom people. Cash flow so much better than any other asset, and you can even you invested right now, you can pay that 7% note, and and you have cash to spare if you do things right as a co-living investment. And so
Right.
in that align with you, and that's why also I have a lot of clients coming to me right now, like, what do I do? How do I do? There is a method to absolutely everything. And the advantage now that I see is that with the rise of PassSplit, which is for education purposes, like the Airbnb of co-living, like the platform in between that brings you the client, that rise of that platform has allowed for many investors to really identify the market that they want to work in and just occupy the properties really quickly.
Sure.
So, quick question for you guys. Can I ask a question? This is for Cliff and for Clara. You were telling us that your flips are getting a little bit longer to turn around and sell. What would be the difference between renting it out to a long-term tenant, who rents out the whole house for $2,000 versus turning it into co-living? How much more can you actually charge? How much more cash flow can you get if it's co-living versus a long-term tenant and just having one tenant or one family living in that property?
You want the number? It's 33%. I know the number that right, because I've done it so many times. If you do, so here's very easy rule of thumb. If you want to do a multifamily for co-living, minimum, you need apartments or units that are 3-bedroom. When you do 3-bedroom, you cash flow minimum, $1,000 more per month, so $12,000 more per unit, so times 3, that's fantastic. But if you have a 4-bedroom and lease by the room with any way you want to do it, and then do that versus compare, and I done many classes about this, versus regular rental, and then multiply by 3 is 33% per floor. So I was doing the exercise later, from $140,000 to $180,000, $90,000 a year. So that's a sizable difference. And again, people think, oh no, overhead work. With any software, you can run a property in your phone. It's really more simple than it is, and it's just like the mentality of what is that? Like the fear mentality of the unknown that's leaving people behind from the investment.
Right. So with that being said, I want to kind of transition, because Alexis, I think, is going to bring a really great perspective. So Alexis, you mentioned earlier how banks can be a pain to deal with, right? No one likes banks, but this is where private money can come in. And with this being such a unique asset, I'd really like to understand your perspective from the private money side.
Yeah, when I look at co-living, it's obviously a strategy that's needed in the marketplace right now. Affordable housing is a big issue, and it's great to see real estate investors solving that issue. Where I've seen people run into challenges is by not doing it correctly. And as a lender, my mindset is, how are you going to exit this loan? Now, I am a bridge lender, a short-term lender. And so a lot of folks will borrow money from me saying, hey, I'm going to refinance and that's the way that I'm going to exit this property, exit this loan. Well, if you don't pull the permits to put up the property correctly, then you might not hit the appraisal value. And then you'll have a hard time getting out of this asset, getting out a cash flow, getting cash out of this asset for the price and for the renovation that you put into it. So I would love to understand the financing here, how you guys are putting these properties together correctly, the legalities, because when I look at co-living, I get a little bit of a feeling. I don't know if you guys all remember the Airbnb phase, but there was the period where Airbnb was popular, and then all these regulations came in. Co-living is in this season right now where there's so little regulation. What are the risks associated with that is the constant thing on the back of my mind as a lender. How will you all exit these loans when your feet are being held to the fire?
Alexis, but here's the difference, and if you allow me to interject. So here's the difference, and I completely agree with you. People get, I'm not going to say greedy, but it's just the lack of knowledge and the lack of financial knowledge that gets into trouble, as you can see. In this neck of the woods, meaning Boston, Rhode Island, Chicago, when you have a multifamily, first rule of thumb is what is the amount of people that is allowed by the state that are not family to be together. Massachusetts is 4, so you don't need to have like in past place, a house with like 10 people, because a single family is too expensive, doesn't work. But when you have a multifamily, any triple decker, so 4 times 3, 12 people, so like a unit for 12, but in one unit that is actually legal without any turnover, without any twisting anybody's shoulders for the deal to appraise, right? So here. Massachusetts, Rhode Island multifamilies make more sense just because there's like less legal risk that way in the appraisal time. In the area that you are, I know that especially Atlanta, I think Atlanta now has about 7,000 pass splits. I think that's the last number I heard. It's also the advice that lenders give them, like not you, but like other lenders say, hey, go get the money for a BR, get it appraised, and then you go and put the rooms after, or put more rooms after, and that's when they get into the trouble, because then they get trouble with the city, with the code, and everybody else. So
I have a question. So Clara,
yes.
When you do co-living spaces, because I did a co-living space with my 5-bedroom, 5-bath house back like 15 to 17 years ago. And when you have so many people living in under one roof, obviously there's a lot of benefits. But what are some of the disadvantages? I mean, what if there's disagreements between the people living with each other? How do you deal with that? I mean, if there's a conflict, what do you do?
Well, you're not the uncle or the dad to begin with, right? So, you start by vetting really good your tenants, and you create the community. So you decide what kind of community you want to have, number one. And number two, you have like a rule book, or what are the rules for your property. So even if you use Passport, or if you're doing it your own, anyway, is your property, is your community. So you have certain rules. No cooking after certain hours, take the choose of whatever house of rules that you might have. And that includes disagreement rules. So friction comes for very, very simple things. And you didn't put the dishes in the dishwasher, or you didn't clean after yourselves in the bathroom. Things that are many, in my experience, just solved with a professional cleaner, or like a cleaning of the common areas at least twice a month. That lowers the friction significantly. I have a very good friend in Denver that uses a conflict resolution method that is the 5-on-5. So you talk to the other person for 5 minutes, the other talk to the other person for 5 minutes, until there is some sort of a resolution that way. So you are the owner of the house, and there are many ways that you can solve these conflicts. And communication would be also following your own guidebook.
I think protecting yourself too as well.
Yeah.
Me being a landlord personally, I can tell you, you always want to draft up a lease that's very, very, clear, concise, so that the tenant knows the expectations and everything is gone over together with the tenant. And just like Clara said, communication is everything.
Yeah.
You check on them every 2 weeks, whether you use a property management or if you want to do it yourself.
Yeah.
When you get bigger units, it's better to have a property management, because that way they're doing everything that you want to do, and you're checking up on them and making sure that, hey, this is getting done so so that there's no excuses. The tenant can't say that they didn't know. Also, keeping things up to code, because the lender's going to look for that. Whether you take a property, you flip it, you buy and hold it, the lender's wants to make sure that all the permits are pulled, all the permits are closed. So just to go on to what Alexis was saying, these things are important, because if you don't do it right, and then the lender says, all right, well, we can't close because we don't have these permits, or we can't do this, you can't blame the lender. So you have to do everything by the book.
I agree. High five on the book.
Yeah,
high five.
absolutely.
Cliff,
So,
high five.
Cliff, kind of segueing into that, if you're a flipper, you're looking for the best exit strategy. You're seeing people turn duplexes into quads now just to make the best out of their resources. So, Alexis, if I'm Cliff and I'm doing a fix and flip and I'm seeing maybe co-living as a strategy, from a lending standpoint, tell us what would be the best practice, like how to go about this, how to approach you to make sure, one, to your point, it's done right and we're not in a position 12 to 18 months from now to exit and we can't.
Yeah, I think if my borrower can show me, hey, I'm working with someone that has refinanced me before, I have a relationship here with my DSCR lender, that's always going to be the most important thing for me, is seeing that proof of concept. Again, I want to understand, what is the strategy on the financing side? How are you going to maintain and support this debt long term? Because my loan, it expires, it matures in 6 months or 12 months or 18 months, right? And so if you cannot stabilize in that timeline, show me the comps, right? Show me, when I go and fund a deal where someone's refinancing as a long-term rental, I'm looking at the rent rate comps to make sure that they can get a DSCR loan. Same thing applies in the co-living space. Show me that your property will fill up in comparison to the properties around it, and that you have that DSCR relationship on the back end to take that bridge debt out. Those are the things that matter to me most when looking at these properties and this exit strategy in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great insight. So that's some great insight from everyone on the panel. And, obviously the next thing we want to do is really talk about the deals, kind of talking about the surface level of, hey, how this works. But, we also want to learn about real live deals here. So, we'll move into the LEARNin Local deal side and really get into the nitty gritty of an actual deal here.
Let's do it. All right, let's talk about these deals.
Perfect. So, obviously we're going to be talking about real life deals, get that life experience. So, Clara, I know you have a deal you wanted to discuss and kind of shed some insight there and,
Okay.
Get your perspective.
Sure, happy to, absolutely. And also thank you, Adam, because when I called you to ask for advice for this deal, you completely changed the way I was looking at it, and I appreciate that a lot. So here's the thing: many landlords, many property owners get tired. They don't know what to do with the multifamilies anymore, and they use, they rent in the traditional method, and they can cash flow like, okay, pay the loan, but they don't have either the energy or the vision to transform it into a profitable co-living investment, or for any other reason, they just want more money than the market is willing to give them. Am I right? How many times, how you see a property that's overpriced? Raise your hand. Right. So this is the case with this property owner. He's based on Worcester, Massachusetts, and he has quite the interesting portfolio. I'm looking at he initially had 3, but now only 2. Triple deckers that are 1 block away from one of the colleges right there in Worcester. The advantage of this deal, and why I am so interested, is because in average, many of the three families here are all 3-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom. He already has 4-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, and 4-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom, which is the hardest part of the conversion. So that part of the conversion is done. But he has not done any good job in optimizing the price. So let me open it. I'm gonna just see you so he has 2 triple deckers, right? So in total, I don't see as 6 apartments. To me, there are 25 rooms and 10 bathrooms, and he has rents as low as $1,800 for a 4-bedroom. And as high, which is still low, but by market, all of them very under market, of $2,300 for a 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. only one of the units is renovated, so this is quite the space for a renovation, include renovation. And right now he's capping 6.4%, which is like, oh, okay, better but not better, and especially because he doesn't want to do he wants 1.9 million, so 950 for each, for a property that is not performing as they should and is not completely renovated, have only one apartment renovated. So you have the opportunity to renovate the other 5 units, bring it to quality, and then turn into co-living. So he's making 13,000 a month in those two. So it's a gross of around 84. And he has expenses for about 18, so he has a net of 66. He's has what 5%, 4.5%, 5% rate. But the advantage of this is that he's open to seller finance. Since he has a very small loan, I believe $500,000 loan, so we are considering seller finance. He's open to it to get the 1.9 million that he's asking, right? When I do the numbers on my end, so he's netting 120 a year net operating income, and about $10,000 a month. That's what he has. And he's our landlord, tired, all by himself. If slowly but little, I renovate. So 2 apartments are tenant at will, and the other 2 are leases until June and July. If the 2 that are tenant at will, they get to renovate and come back to as co-livings, and I wait another year and do the other 4 units, I'm looking at 25 rooms, knowing that the price for a co-living unit in Worcester is not as high as Massachusetts or Boston or Cambridge. 25 rooms at $950 with all utilities, furnished, like nice, good-looking places, 1 block to a college. I'm seeing a total of 23,000, like 24,000 a month when it's fully occupied at 100% occupancy. Based on so total menus, so 23,000 versus 13,000, so $10,000 extra right there. And if I renovate very slow, then there is absolutely not a problem for at least for the next year. That will give me, if I put everything either in Passplit or hire a local property manager, I will get an annualized income of $200,000. And it will be like a 200% return if we do refinance and at almost 11% cap rate, cash on cash 55, and after paying any potential mortgage or paying the debt service, we'll get almost $90,000 net per year in these 2 units. Just in 2 units, if they're well run, they're well managed with technology, bringing all the expertise that I have for this. So a regular triple decker in Worcester is what, 700,000 to 800,000. The only way that this deal can pencil is A, in co-living, so you have enough monthly income in any unit to be able to pay him, and B, seller finance, so you don't have to pay $10,000 in a mortgage, because then the numbers wouldn't work at all. And that's why co-living is a solution to so many other properties that are not moving in the market. Because when you move it to co-living, then the cap rate explodes and the operational revenue goes really, really high. Questions?
Right. No, that's a really great insight, especially to the deal you're actually doing. And, we always love talking about deals. And, with this deal, we were sponsored today by Revolution Realty Capital. So, that's bringing us an actual live deal. So from what you're talking about, Clara, with that, there's so many insights here. Like Cliff, for instance, if you're seeing a triple decker and maybe that's an exit strategy, how hard is it to go from like 2 bedrooms to having 4 bedrooms, like when you're a fix and flipper?
So it all depends. You want to have a great general contractor, and again, you want to go to the building department to make sure that you can even do this, and because it has to be legal, it has to be done correctly. So if you have a good team, a strong team, it can be done.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
And I guess to your point too about doing it right, that leads into kind of what Alexis was saying. If I'm coming to her now for, hey, I have this property, we're turning into co-living. Alexis, for you, I mean, based on what you heard from Cliff and Clara, like how would you kind of approach this type of deal they're talking about and saying, hey, we've gotten the permits, it's okay by the city. You know, Clara's talk about the deal. This is how we're approaching the deal. These are the numbers. Like, how do you kind of do things next?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question. I mean, if Clara's gotten the permit, she's done her due diligence, that's when I get really excited. You know, that's when I get excited. That's what I'm here for, to fund the deal and make sure that operators can be successful with financing backing them. So, you know, that due diligence done up front is what matters. And if you know, Clara or Cliff can come to me and say, here's my plan, here are the permits, I'm all for it. I'm here to make projects successful with financing.
Right. And to your point, like, I'm sure these are situations you can get these done a little bit faster. Like, how are you kind of underwriting these yourself? Like, you know, are you still doing similar like DSCR requirements like a lender would, or like, how are you kind of determining, hey, the market, what it might justify for the numbers, and, you know, really make sure that, hey, this is realistic from a lending standpoint?
Yeah, I think realistically, you know, we're talking about co-living and multifamily together. And this is great. It's a great concept. Multifamily has been around for a long time. But realistically, co-living is still a single family home. And so it's evaluated like a single family home. It's appraised like a single family home. I haven't seen co-living yet sell on cap rates or sell based on NOI like multifamily does. It's not necessarily a business yet. It's still evaluated like an asset. Now, when that transition happens, if that transition happens, lending might change because you can increase the value of the property by renting out each room. But as of right now, the underwriting still comes down to comping this single family house against other single family houses. Now, in the event that the DSCR lender changes their mind or the exit lender changes their mind, and now they're evaluating strictly based off the cash flow of the property, then my approach will change as well. But when I approach underwriting, whether it be a co-living property or a fix and flip property or whatever the case may be, if it's a single family house, it's always going to come down to comps in the neighborhood for me.
Right. No, that's great insight. And, you know, I was thinking about this, you know, Roger, you know, you provide a great insight too, because, you know, you're in the short-term rental space. And I feel like there's some similarities to the way you manage a short-term and maybe co-living as well. I mean, what would you say is from like a management standpoint, you know, to this?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of overlapping qualities there. So, Claire, let me ask you, what is like the maintenance aspect of co-living? Like, how's the wear and tear, the cost of utilities? Are those generally more or less than a family of four living in a home?
It's actually the same, and here's why. Because when you lease a property, most likely it's going to be furnished. So the residents only come, or the members of the community will come with the 2 suitcases as a regular rental, even less, you know, so there is no scratching on the walls because a new couch and things like that. No, you know, suitcases come and leave. So way less. And if you bet your tenants right, the majority or my residents are either really grad students, young professionals. They're always outside the home, very occupied. So they just like pretty much go to sleep and cook, and, you know, very not a lot of tear on the property. And by you providing cleaning of the common areas once a month, twice a month, you really not only keep an eye on potential maintenance issues. Some people, if they are from different cultures, hey, maybe they don't know how to use a garbage disposal. So we have run into those situations a couple of times, but it's no different than any other regular maintenance. Utilities wise, I think it depends on the area that you are, and I will do is more utilities than normal because they are included. Many of them are included. Some companies that do a lot of co-living arbitrage include or ask for like an extra $100 or X amount of money for the utility, so that lowers potential use. And yeah, have a little bit of control of utilities. But other than that, it's pretty much about the same, because once they're there, they're happy, you know, check every month. And the only call if really they need something, I will automate. That's what I used to do, or I do all the times, automate any maintenance request. Technology, hey, you know, photo, this is a pick, this is wrong, boom. You send the PM, or you create, you know, a weekly log of things that you need to send the PM for. Same, pretty much the same. Way less than Airbnb.
Great, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And like, is there a minimum requirement for someone to rent a room? Do you like look at their income or credit history? What qualifies?
Yes,
of
course. Of course. But and Alexis can like copy on me, because one, if you're a Passplit client, that's different than if you are a co-living person in Massachusetts, like as an example. If you are a client that's going to Passplit underwrites based on and assess people based on the minimum wage that they have in the area, and the price of the room is based on a weekly basis, not in a monthly basis. Why? Because they align the payment of the person that makes minimum wage, or work on retail or things like that. Because the check is weekly, so kind of ECH the check, so that lowers down any potential defaults. And that's what they have so much occupancy, so many rooms. And here in Massachusetts, the majority of owner-operators that I know, owner-operators, arbitrage, they gear towards young professional, graduate students, national or international. They need to have proof of funds. Is that they need to go through a regular application process as any other asset. There is no plus or less. It's just the difference, in my opinion, is just way less entry cost. You don't have to pay first and last and deposit. First and deposit, or first and half deposit. That's it. And if you do Passplit, 1 week and then deposit. So yeah, no brainer.
So if that person unfortunately loses their job, and do they have tenancy rights to that room? Like, have you ever needed to evict somebody?
In my 10 years, I have 2 people that weren't able to pay. One, mental health mostly, and we called the parents, and in 2 weeks they were out of here, like not a problem. On like a regular complete property, the eviction process goes quicker. It's about 2 weeks in Massachusetts, but yeah, of course you have to respect the rights of everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
But that again is for underwriting. If you underwrite right and you do a good review of your clients.
Gotcha. That's some great insight. We have a few minutes before we kind of transition to the last thing we usually talk about with LEARNin Local events. Of what's going on in the areas. Perfect. So before we kind of usually end this with I like to get some comments from everyone on closing on this, but one last thing too is talk about LEARNin Local events, things that are going on in the local community. If you guys want to promote any event you go to, you're hosting in the upcoming weeks, if anyone has an event.
I have 2. That's okay.
Oh, 2. Yeah, go for it.
So every Friday at noon, so like tomorrow at noon, I do a free webinar, Co-Living for Investors. You want me to drop the link in the comments? So I teach investors how to underwrite and identify co-living property. So as Alexis said, they know what they're doing with regarding the numbers and how to do the comps, how to underwrite, how to move forward and identify properties that work for them, either here or anywhere in the country. So people come from all over and ask me questions. So that's one. If you are Massachusetts or Rhode Island, September 10th, so actually like in 20 days, we're gonna have the first launch of Passplit or co-living in Rhode Island. I host the co-living meetups in New England, and now we have done several here in Boston. Now we're gonna go to Rhode Island. Link in comments. The president of Passplit is gonna be there. Let me see. Sorry, 1 second. And it would be awesome if you guys go. Hold on for 1 second.
I can also share a really cool event coming up. This is a group that I've been a part of for a while called Closers Contractors and Connections. This is for commercial real estate investors, people who are looking to break into that next market. If you're looking at multifamily, it would be a good idea for you to be here. Retail, industrial, mobile home parks, RV parks, all things commercial. There's an event happening on September 25th, Thursday, September 25th, 6 to 9 p.m. I just dropped the side link in the chat. But it's an incredible group. Lots of family offices there, lots of lenders there. So I would highly recommend that you guys check it out. And if you're around September 25th, it'll be taking place in Boston, Massachusetts.
Awesome.
Perfect. Will you be in attendance for that, Alexis?
I will be there.
Perfect. Well, you'll get to meet the connection I mentioned, John Sidoti, in that group. He's the industrial investor as well. So like you said, kind of ways to level up, get into commercial, and Yeah, that's a great one. I'll have to make sure I check that one out as well.
Absolutely.
Roger, Cliff, or Chris, any other events you guys have going on?
This Sunday, I will be attending an event in Rhode Island. It's the CCRE Summerfest. It's going to be at a mansion down there with food trucks, live music, and it's family oriented. So I'm looking forward to that.
And again, sorry, where is that again?
It is at the Rathbun Mansion in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
Excellent.
Perfect. Well, I'd love to be out there with you guys, but I'm in California. I can fly down there for an event.
What part of California? I'm going to be in California all
I'm actually
October.
in San Diego.
Very cool. All right, we'll have to catch up. I'll be around.
Yeah, we will. My contact information is there, Alexis, on the chat. So anybody who needs me for anything, please give me a call. If you're ever down in San Diego, I'd love to meet with you and show you the town.
Love it. Could you drop it one more time?
Yeah,
I'm scrolling
absolutely.
here. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Cliff, how about you? Any events going on or that you're?
So I run a multifamily investors network event. It's in the South Shore. It's in Brockton. I do it monthly. The last few months I haven't done them because it's been a little bit quiet with the summer and everything going on. But it's always on Eventbrite. I can share it with you guys once I set it all up for next month. But that's something to keep in mind. Somebody like Alexis you'd be perfect to go there because people are always looking for lenders and things of that nature. So it'd probably be a good fit, or anybody else, that wants to go and connect.
Excellent. Well, seems like a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
Yep.
The last thing we kind of transition with is LEARNin Local Network. Obviously, if you've heard the term, your net worth is your network. It's really about, who you know, how you can help each other. You just never really know where it's going to take you. So we're always looking for more real estate professionals to join us here who are subject matter experts that can provide their expertise, just like our guests today, like Clara, Cliff, Chris, and Alexis, and Roger. Some great experience, great knowledge, and these are people who are actually doing it. Speak to it. They know what they're talking about. And for those who are new to investing or want to get into different assets or different avenues, these are some great connections to have. So I guess last thing we always end on is everyone kind of go around the table and just end it with good insight on either today's topic or what's going on. And yeah, I'd love to get everyone's final perspective. Cliff, why don't you start?
Yeah, absolutely. So no, it was great chatting with you guys and just seeing other viewpoints. And me personally, I haven't really done the pad split ideology. I'm more of a multifamily type of person, and but it's amazing to learn. Even I learned today about it. Even being an experienced investor, and things that you should do, things that you shouldn't do, and and it's all about the numbers. Like the lender says, you got to give them comps, make sure that the numbers add up, and make sure that you have good contractors, people that you can rely on, and an exit strategy so that you are able to get the project, or if you're going to refinance or buy and hold or buy and flip, that you can be.
Right. Absolutely. Alexis.
Yeah. Absolutely. This has been awesome. We're constantly evolving. These conversations are so important because the market is constantly evolving, needs are constantly evolving. And so having an open forum to talk about how these projects actually get done, how they come to fruition, how they're successful is everything. What I would suggest to anyone who's looking at co-living or pad split or any of these strategies, make sure your financing is lined up. Every good deal needs funding. Make sure you start to build those grassroots relationships on how you're going to finish these projects with the capital. And so I'm happy to look at deals. I know Clara is the expert here on the operations. We are here for you. And the funding is a big piece of getting this done correctly.
Right. Well, like you said, to your point, it's about the communication, right? So if you're an investor, for you on the lending side, you need to have those conversations early. Get ahead of it. Don't just bring you a deal today and say, hey, Alexis, I need to close on this tomorrow. What do you got? It's like, hey, we're not
100%.
Yeah.
So, Clara, how about yourself?
Man, thanks for the invite. This was super cool. Co-living is just getting started, as we said in the co-living conference in Denver. Now we're like, 500, 700 people that are like leading the pack. 5 years from now, this is going to be 5,000, 7,000. So I would say jump in the bandwagon before it's too late. If you regret not jumping into Airbnb or Uber back in the day, like enter now, because this is not going to go away. It's not in order far, it's here to stay for the long term. And thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Chris.
Yeah, I think this was a great forum. I love these insights. Clara, thank you so much for all this information, because I did the co-living space back in the day, and then it's just all these different things now. It's evolving into something different, where this might be a good investment opportunity for me in the future that I would like to consider to get more cash flow if I just split up the rooms and make this into a community. So thank you for all your insights, and just all the guests for just all of their feedback on how we can actually capitalize on this investment opportunity that's starting to get popular. So thank you so much for everybody. I learned so much today.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And Roger.
Yeah, thanks all for having me.
I think definitely co-living is great for someone that's looking to get into real estate. Someone that is risk averse, it can really minimize that risk, because unlike single family, you're either 100% occupied or not. Then if you get a triple decker, you're 30%, 60 or 100, right? Occupied. But if you're breaking it down by room, then you can minimize your vacancy rate, right? Or you can.
Right.
So I think that's really good. Like, instead of just comparing who makes the most money every month, this is really good way for someone to get into real estate with minimal risk.
Yeah,
that's correct. To close briefly, many people are doing this house hacking system. They buy a multifamily, they live in one room and just rent the others, and they can live for free for 2 years. And then, it's easy for them to refinance and get started into real estate in a way that is safer for them.
All good strategies.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. Well, again, thank you everyone for your expertise, your insight. I think this was a perfect example of there's so many ways to make money in real estate, so many ways to do business, and really your network. We have so many great connections here. And I think that's really what it's all about, is adapting in your network. So again, appreciate everyone who attended today, and our, guests, co-hosts, for LEARNin Local Live, thank you. And, we hope to see you guys at the next show.
Thank you, guys. And
all right, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for coming to our show.
Bye.